And what we're getting to hear is that there seems to be no end in sight to the ongoing deadlock. The court has agreed to the central government's request not to pass an order on Jallikattu for at least a week, keeping the sentiments in mind. The centre has told the Supreme Court that cultural passions are being witnessed and the law and order needs to be maintained. The centre also added that it is in talks with the Supreme Court to find an amicable solution to the ongoing, row that one has witnessed in the last few days. Anusha Soni joins us with the very latest on this. Anusha, so the centre and state in talks to find an amicable solution. But tell me something, what is it that the Supreme Court has agreed to do? What is it that they will not be, doing in the next 1 week?
Avantika, to put the facts right, we all know that the final order, the final judgment on the Jallikattu still awaited. There's a stay on the festival of Jallikattu from the Supreme Court order of 2014. Now, what the Attorney General Mukul Rohatgi today did was to request the Supreme Court bench led by Justice Deepak Mishra that keeping the law and order situation in mind, keeping in mind that the cultural passions are running high, the Supreme Court should abstain from passing in any order on the Jallikattu issue at least for a week. Now, this was a precautionary move from the centre because no one knows when the order or the final judgment will come out. The centre did that and the bench led by Justice Deepak Mishra agreed that at least for a week they will not pass the order. They did ask Attorney General what is happening with the situation right now, and the centre represented by Mr. Rohatgi assured the Supreme Court that the state and the centre are in talks to resolve this entire problem which is being witnessed in the state of Tamil Nadu. Now, as you were pointing out, with the passing days, the issue is becoming more difficult, it's becoming politicized, we are seeing dharnas and protests. Now, what centre is essentially worried about is the law and order situation. But there's a hidden reading also with what the centre has done today with the Supreme Court. Any ordinance, at least as far as the centre is concerned, is very unlikely now. Because this was the centre coming forward to the Supreme Court and assuring that they are trying to solve the situation by mutual talks and agreement, and there is no intention to bypass the Supreme Court order. That was the implicit message that the centre has given to the Supreme Court.
But that's the Supreme Court. But the state is allowed to pass a law. Can they do that to allow Jallikattu?
A very pertinent question, Avantika. I mean, there have been statements like we just played about the Chief Minister coming forward and saying that there's a draft ordinance bill which has already been passed. We have been, constantly talking about the Supreme Court judgment, a 5-judge constitutional bench which in detail has laid down that unless there is an emergency situation, unless the circumstances are dire, the state government will not take the ordinance route. It is disliked by the Constitution. At the same time, we must understand that whenever an ordinance is passed, the governor has a very important role to play. And the governor does work with the aid and advice of the state and also of the centre. So any ordinance route, even from the, as far as the state is concerned, will not be very smooth.
Stay with me. We have the spokesperson now of the AIADMK, Ms. Saraswati. Ma'am, thank you so much for speaking to us. Hectic consultations that is happening between the Chief Minister and the centre. Can you just apprise us as to what really is your state government doing as far as this very contentious and sensitive matter is concerned?
No, this actually, even our Honorable late CM Amma also wants it back. Jallikattu, we want it back. So now what our Honorable Chief Minister said today is, we'll pass the ordinance immediately and we'll send it to Governor, and we request central government to send it to President. Definitely, hopefully we want to get it back. I think we will succeed this time. Definitely.
Ma'am, tell me something. Why wasn't this done earlier if this was a state subject and if this
Once it happened in 2009, that time DMK government was there, they passed the rule and they have sent to the court, so it has been dismissed that time. And that only Honorable Chief Minister Amma was requesting Honorable Supreme Court and Honorable Central Government to remove the bull from the banded list. What she thought is, again, if you send, if it failed, it won't look nice. So we requested, Honorable CM Amma requested so many times Honorable Prime Minister and Honorable Supreme Court, if they remove the bull from the banded list, all the problems will be over. Only because of PETA is saying it's not true. We said so many times. But we waited because it is in the Supreme Court, everybody knows it. So 2 years, till 2014, the Jallikattu was doing in Tamil Nadu. After that only, Honorable Supreme Court gave an order. not to conduct Jallikattu anymore. So 2 years our Honorable CM Mama is fine. But now this issue is taken by people. It's not a political issue now in Tamil Nadu, it's a people issue. So all Tamil Nadu people want back the culture, want back they wanted Jallikattu again. So it has become a people's issue now. So our Honorable Chief Minister and Honorable General Secretary, our Chidamma also wrote a letter to Prime Minister to give us thing immediately. So definitely this time, hopefully, we'll be successful.
Okay.
I am in a, sorry, I'm in a fasting in a American Sangam. I'll talk to you later. Thank you.
All right. C.R. Saraswati there saying that all measures will be taken by the state government to ensure that Jallikattu in fact is allowed. And as we know, there have been hectic consultations between the Chief Minister of the state, O. Paneerselvam, with the centre. He's also going to be meeting the Home Ministry and the Home Minister, Rajnath Singh, after his meeting with the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, who said that the matter is sub judice and they can't really do much and, really shied away from promulgating an ordinance. There has been a lot of talk that is happening between the state government and the centre with regards to this very sensitive matter. We're getting in some more breaking news as I speak that the Tamil Nadu cabinet will be meeting today, this evening, on this particular matter, and an ordinance is likely to be promulgated. The Chief Minister of the state is going to be returning from Delhi, and a cabinet meeting will be convened to decide on the promulgation of an emergency ordinance on Jallikattu, because this is a state subject, and what we hear is that the state also has the right to pass a law to make this sport actually happen in its particular area. So this is the bit of news. The Jallikattu matter reaching an impasse with the centre, who have not really shown any inclination to pass an ordinance, but they have assured the Chief Minister that they will support the state in all its ways. And the news that we've just right now received is that the state will be promulgating an ordinance. The Chief Minister is going to be returning from Delhi, and this cabinet meet is going to be convened this evening. Okay, we have with us Mr. Sarvanan, who is joining us now. He, of course, is representing the DMK. So thanks so much for speaking to us. I just spoke to the AIADMK representative who said very clearly that the Chief Minister will be, taking up matters on an urgent basis, will also pass a law and ensure that Jallikattu is allowed. I'm just wondering, why was all of this not done earlier on if Jallikattu is a state subject?
I think there is not clarity whether it's a state subject. I would just briefly, describe Article 213, which says if a governor has to promulgate an ordinance on a subject which is already covered by a central legislation, then the prior assent of the president is required. Probably now, after talking with the central government, with the tweet coming from the Prime Minister saying that we will do all that necessary, probably they are agreed for this prior assent from the president. President also acts on the advice of the cabinet minister. So, without the central government's assistance or without the direct involvement of the central government, nothing could be done.
So are you saying that the state can pass its own law, but after the assent it receives from the central government?
Yes, after the presidential assent only it can be promulgated, an ordinance under Article 213. So probably that is why all this is law. But the worrisome aspect is why this state government and the central government has allowed things to go this way.
No, what is your concern? Can you just repeat that once again?
Yes, the concern is why they have not done this earlier.
Yes.
There is this way.
Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, they are not bothered. It shows that they are not worried, they are not bothered, but when the people come out and express their desire, they will react. This is not way how a democracy functions. That is the most worrisome aspect.
Okay. All right. Sir, thanks so much for speaking to us. Revati joins us now with the very latest. Revati, there's a lot of information that's coming in right now. The Chief Minister, who has been talking to the Prime Minister and will be meeting the Home Minister and then will be returning from Delhi and, convening a cabinet meet. What are you hearing as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned and about the state passing its own law, considering that this matter is a state subject?
have been saying that they will go ahead with their protests and intensify the protests until the ban on Jallikattu is lifted. So it's just not about a meeting or about promises that the governments will be making. It's action. It's not just words that they want to hear. So the locals have made it clear that they will intensify protests. We have seen earlier today that for the second consecutive day they've gone ahead and they have stopped train services as well in Madurai. Locals protesting, sitting on railway tracks as well. Let me get you voices of the locals as well. Now the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has met the Prime Minister. Once he comes back, there will be a cabinet meeting. The state government will be discussing to bring in an ordinance to lift the ban on Jallikattu. Will that be sufficient? Will you stop the protest with that?
No, don't think so. If anything happens other than lifting a ban, the protest will continue.
Protests will continue.
Yes,
okay, this is the kind of voice that's coming. It's not just about words and promises. And I have some foreigners also with me who are here protesting, supporting the locals here against the ban on Jallikattu. So you are from England and you're here on a 3 weeks vacation.
Right.
Have you seen Jallikattu before?
Not before, no. I'll come over here to see it, but it's not happening.
And what is your reason for supporting Jallikattu here?
Because it's a traditional sport. It's happened for thousands of years.
It's not
fun,
animal cruelty, is
no
it?
cruelty
Okay.
to animals.
It's a sacred animal.
Preserves the species of the cows native to only Tamil Nadu, which will go extinct after it takes away.
Okay, so foreigners here on their visit on a vacation here as well, joining the chorus of the
Right.
locals, supporting the locals, saying that they want Jallikattu, holding posters and banners saying that they support the locals and want to see this traditional form perhaps during their vacation here in India. But that's the kind of voices
Right.
that you're hearing from here. The locals saying that anything other than a lift on the ban on Jallikattu will not be accepted. That's the
Okay.
kind of voice coming from here from
Anusha,
Madurai.
there's a lot of legal jargon here. Just explain things for us. Now, the Supreme Court had turned down and had dismissed, in fact, the review petition filed by the state to review the 2014 Apex Court's judgment banning Jallikattu. Does a state have the rights to pass its own laws? And if yes, if Jallikattu is a state subject, then why was this not done earlier on?
Avantika, clearly the bull taming sport is a state subject, but you must understand that it does not work in a void. There is a larger act enacted by the centre which applies to all the states in this country, which is prevention of cruelty to animals, the 1960 Act. Then there are also fundamental rights and duties and principles enshrined in the Constitution which talk about compassion to animals. Now all of these facts were taken into account when the Supreme Court passed its order. The fact that centre does have a stay, a say in the Jallikattu issue was the reason that the centre was made a party in the entire Jallikattu row. Even if the state government under tremendous public pressure goes ahead and promulgates an ordinance, even if it receives the assent of the governor, it will need to be ratified by the president. It will need the assent of the president under Article 213, as many people have been talking about. So this ordinance and its implication to allow the Jallikattu to go ahead will not happen without the centre. Now read that with what the Prime Minister said yesterday and what the Attorney General told the Supreme Court today. The Prime
Yes.
Minister made it very clear yesterday by saying that the matter is sub judice.
Yes.
Today the Attorney General comes forward to the Supreme Court and says do not pass the order. That means the centre in all likelihood is trying to avoid the confrontation with the top judiciary of the country. So this is also a matter between the centre and the top judiciary, and we must not forget that.
Okay. Very interesting, this discussion, Anusha. Just stay with me. I want to go straight across to Akshaya. Akshaya, this is a fight for one's cultural heritage, for Tamil Nadu's pride, for its traditions. Tell me something. It's the 4th day of the protest. How really have they been able to sustain the momentum? And can you just tell us the basic profile of the protesters? Are they, more or less students, or are you seeing more and more people from, corporations or from other work areas joining this massive protest, this unprecedented protest that we're getting to see?
Well, Avantika, it's a mixed crowd. It started off with a student protest. Now it's seen that the crowd has turned into even children between the age of 8 and 15 are coming here. They've bunked school, and only few minutes back were we talking to those kids as well. But Avantika, the entire situation is very electrifying here. Just moments back, the SP, the Chennai SP had come out here and he was reading the emergency ordinance that the state government is planning, and he was requesting that the state government is issued an ordinance and a request to the public who have gathered here and have asked them to move out of this place. They promise that Jallikattu will go on. They'll try every limit to push the state government and the central government to ensure that Jallikattu happens. And they are requesting that the people who have gathered here, which is intensifying every minute, to move out of this place. But it was seen that a chorus loud cry was heard from the people saying, no, we will not move out. We will not move out till the Vadi Vasil, that is the entrance to the main place where the game happens. Unless and until the Bulls are released from there, they're not going to move back out of this place, Avantika.
Okay, all right. Akshaya, Revati, Anusha, thank you all for joining us. So